Hello everyone, you're watching the YouTube station identification of one of New Bedford, Massachusetts resident YouTubers, Mr. Eric Lima over here. You are watching WEML-TV, Channel 77, Episode 20 of the new season, of the new year. What's going on, everybody? January 13th, 2021. It is a solemn date, but we'll talk about that on another episode. But right now, let's get some fun going here. As you can see, we have the 2021 Dusty Rhodes Tag Team Classic coming up. I'm really excited about this, and these are the 16 teams that will be competing. There will be 3 matches happening tonight on NXT, and we are going to break this down. Before also. We're gonna add for 2 for a price of 1, folks. Because we're gonna add a WBF thoughts, because this is kind of like a WBF thoughts, and what kind of matches would form in the Dusty Rhodes Tag Team Classic. Imagine what team would fight against. So I personally like this. This is really cool. And for the WBF thoughts, as requested, I will talk about Kane. But let's talk about the Dusty Rhodes Tag Team Classic first of all, and check out the. You gotta check out these. Okay, here we go. Adam Cole and Roderick Strong, the Undisputed Era, will take on Breezango tonight. The night will be the main event. Cruiserweight veterans Tony Nese and Arya Daivari will take on Sheena and Ruff will be taking on the Ways, Gargano and Theory. That's a rivalry that is happening. Ever Rise tonight will take on the Grizzled Young Veterans. And let's go to the other side of the bracket. Now, there is a new tag team that will make their debut. We don't know who MSK is, but a lot of speculation is going around that would be the former Rascals from Impact Wrestling, Zachary Wentz and Desmond Xavier. If that's the case, that's going to be a heck of a team to be on the lookout for. That'll be the dark horse candidates to win this tournament, to take on Isaiah Swerve Scott and Jake Atlas. A very unlikely team, more like strange bedfellows here. We're going down here. Another unlikely team, Drake Maverick and the massive Killian Dane, the European Connection, will take on a team of cruiserweight newcomers, Kurt Stallion and August Gray. Stallion's got a cruiserweight title shot in his back pocket. I'm sure he'll cash in on that pretty soon. Very interesting contrasts in styles in this tournament. In this next match, Imperium going against the Lucha House Party, Lince Dorado and Grand Metalik from Monday Night Raw. I think this is the first main roster team that will be part of the Dusty Rhodes Classic this year. And a lot of people are saying this final match could steal the show and steal the tournament. Legado del Fantasma, the team of Raul Mendoza and Joaquin Wilde, to take on the Bollywood boys, the boys of Bharat. You know, Bully, and all that. This is a very interesting tournament, to say the least. And who I think is going to win the tournament? A lot of people are saying Cole and Strong are the heavy favorites going in, I think, because they've won the Dusty Cup Classic, not Strong, but Cole and O'Reilly, thanks to Roderick Strong. So Breezango, former tag team champs as well. Ever Rise is a fast-rising team. Grizzled Young Veterans. No one would like to win a tournament because they have won the NXT UK Tag Team Championships in a tournament-like situation. So I'm going to give my dark horse candidates to win this thing is the team of MSK. Don't know who they are as of yet, and like I said, it could be anybody. Speculation has it it's Zachary Wentz and Desmond Xavier. If that's the case, if it's the former Rascals. That's the case. That I think MSK could be the dark horse candidate to win this thing. I'm thinking maybe Legado del Fantasma. This is a very tough tournament to decide. All you know is Adam Cole and Roderick Strong and Breezango. They're two favorites in there. Kushida and Ruff, Gargano and Theory. Gargano and Theory could be on the way to win the Dusty Cup. I really don't know. To say the least, this is a very, very tough tournament to decide who would win the tournament. And very tough. Like I said, MSK is the unknown factor in this equation. And Swerve and Atlas, who basically who basically are about to be coming to blows, could be well on their way of being a team for a short while. Because MSK, a lot of unknowns about this, and it will be something else to just it it will be something else to be on the lookout for. So I have every belief that uh, I think Cole and Strong can win this whole tournament. It is a tough decision. Three of the matches happening tonight. Cole and Strong and Breezango, that's your main event. Ever Rise and Grizzled Young Veterans, the GYV. MSK and Swerve and Atlas. I've heard that match is happening tonight. This is from the Bump. And this is a very interesting tournament. I don't know who's going to win it, who's going to lose. All I know is these matches are definitely happening, and Imperium's got a fair shot. Look, okay. Here's I can look at this. I look at this bracket here at the bottom right here, the bottom right. This will make up some interesting matches. Legado del Fantasma and Lucha House Party, if they beat their respective teams, they can advance to the second round. You know, and go against each other. That'll be a lucha battle for sure. Or you can have Imperium versus the Bollywood Boys. That'll be interesting. Or Imperium versus Legado del Fantasma. That'll be a heck of a matchup. Or Lucha House Party versus the Bollywood Boys. That'll be a high energy matchup to say the least. But then I think you got Maverick and Dane, which is an unlikely team. And I think Maverick and Dane, Swerve and Atlas will be kaput if they get eliminated in the first round. If they get eliminated in the first round, these two teams right here are going to be kaput. They're going to be done and split up. MSK and Stallion and Gray, that will be a heck of a matchup. Or MSK versus Maverick and Dane, that will be something. I think either way, these two teams won't last after the tournament's over. Because I don't think either one of those teams are going to win. I'd be shocked if they did, but we will see to it. We will see, because that will be something to be on the lookout for. And I think it's going to be a very, very interesting part. Like I said, Cole and Strong and Breezango, I'm sure these two teams respect each other after, what Pat McAfee did. But I think these two teams right here could be the ones to watch. It will be something else. Let's see, Nisa Daivari and Adonis and Troy, and this is the first time they're teaming up, so it'll be very interesting to see what they can do together. Kushida and Ruff, Gargano and Fury. I wouldn't be surprised if this match gets thrown out because they're probably going to be beating the heck out of each other, and possibly give Ever Rise or Grizzled Young Veterans a bye after the first round. So if whoever wins that matchup, but Ever Rise has been running their mouths. Who knows? Ever Rise can win the whole thing. Ever Rise and NSK are my two dark horses right now. These two teams, Ever Rise here and MSK, are my dark horses because MSK, you got the unknown factor coming in. They're coming in. No, none of these teams know who MSK is. Swerve and Atlas don't know who MSK is. We fans might know. It could be Wentz and Xavier. Who knows? And under different names. It'll be very interesting. I think they're making their debut tonight against Swerve and Atlas in the Dusty Rhodes Tag Team Classic. So I'm looking forward to see what they can do if it's the Rascals. So, and a lot of people think it's Malcolm Bivens' team, but no, Indu Share is not in. That's the only surprising thing. Indu Share and Malcolm Bivens' team is not in the tournament this year. I thought they would be. They would be the heavy favorites going in there, but with the pandemic, and they've gone back to India, I think. I'm not so sure, to work on NXT India. I've been hearing rumors that India is going to have their own NXT. If that's the case, I wouldn't be surprised if Great Khali gets himself involved, because with his federation, who knows? I'm looking forward to see what they can bring to the table if that's the case. And Indu Share could be part of it. So that's another thing too going around. I heard hashtag. I've seen hashtags and NXT India on Twitter and all that. So we see NXT UK, we see NXT Japan. They should have NXT International, have all the international talent. That'll be really something to see, because that's what it's all about. It's World Wrestling Entertainment. It'll be very interesting to see what will happen in this tournament. This tournament's going to be very, very interesting, to say the least. I mean, Sanity has gone their separate ways. Eric Young's back to Impact Wrestling, while Dane's teaming up with Drake Maverick. Wolf is with the Imperium, and Nikki Cross is basically on her own. So it's going to be a very, very interesting thoughts. Um, well, that's it for the Dusty Rhodes Tag Team Classic with my thoughts on that. But however, I'm going to come back and, in a few moments, and we're going to get ready to do my WBF thoughts as requested by viewer. By viewer and a subscriber. And speaking of subscribers, I want to welcome Luke Jeffers to my channel of WEML-TV channel 77, and I will be back in a couple of moments to do a WBF thoughts on the Big Red Machine, Kane. And we're back, ladies and gentlemen. How's going back again? This is WBF thoughts number 3. As you I think the Dusty Rhodes Tag Team Classic is going to be very, very interesting, to say the least. So, what my subject requested by Von Baskin, one of my loyal subscribers, whose comments can be off kilter when it comes to wrestling. But, however, I'm trying to bring him back to reality. So I figured, but his crazy comments gave me an idea of WBF thoughts. I figured, have a fantasy booking who would, if we were bookers, who would we book him with, and it's going to be very interesting, to say the least. And here you go. Right now, we got nobody so far. So my first thought, obviously, it would be The Fiend. Now, Kane has faced Bray Wyatt in the past, but here's the difference. He faced a Bray Wyatt that was basically, he faced Bray Wyatt in a different light, and basically just he faced Bray Wyatt in a different light, obviously, and just Bray Wyatt was not in his fiend mode at the time. He was more like sort of like a Cape Fear type deal, almost like Waylon Mercy esque type deal, but with the fedora. He's got the family, the Wyatt family at the time. But this is a different. Now the Fiend is a horse for a different color, and Fiend is more like a monster, so to speak. So monster versus monster would be the. And in recent days, seen this past Monday Night Raw, it looks like the Fiend, Alexa Bliss has been involved in herself in this, shooting Randy Orton with a fireball. Fire could be a factor in this one. Alexa Bliss factor. Now Kane does have a history of women betraying him. First Tori, back in, was it 99, 2000, and then Lita. So I think Kane's going to have to find a woman that he can trust, basically, to keep her. And the goal for that woman is to keep an eye on Alexa Bliss. And if you knock out the Alexa Bliss factor, I mean, AJ Lee, same thing, AJ Lee. So you're talking about. So Kane needs to go out and find a woman that he can trust and say, hey, what I want you to do is keep an eye on Alexa ringside. If Kane the Fiend went at it, that could be a huge thing. Nikki Cross could be the only person that Kane could trust. And Kane probably come up to Nikki Cross and say, hey, you got a little history with Alexa. I need you to keep an eye on her ringside. Try to subdue her as I, deal with the Fiend. Kane and Nikki Cross would not be a bad. Nikki Cross would not be a bad choice for Kane to trust. Okay, that's another thing too. Another superstar that I like to see Kane feud with, and as far as size and strength is concerned, is Keith Lee. Now Keith Lee, 340 pounds. He had an awesome matchup with Sheamus, and which end up to embrace each other. I think Keith Lee and Sheamus could be good friends and could be a great team. And I think Kane and Keith Lee, athletically, both men can move very well for their size. I mean, Kane can throw drop kicks, and Keith Lee can fly in the air as well. It's amazing, and you can. I think these two guys, Keith Lee, it would be a heck of a matchup between those two, and I can't picture a better matchup than Keith Lee and Kane. That's what I'm thinking here. All right, and let's go to we're going to the NXT portion of this. Obviously, I want to see this matchup if it happens. Karrion Kross versus Kane. You talk about fire involved. I remember, Keith Lee, when the contract signing and when Keith Lee opened up the contract, a fireball went in his face. Karrion Kross has better be, if Karrion Kross and Kane ever faced each other, Karrion Kross needs to tread lightly because Kane is an expert at fire. So that's another thing too. And again, Scarlett Bordeaux would be at ringside, so Kane again will have to find somebody. Will have to find somebody tough to keep an eye on Scarlett Bordeaux at ringside. So that's another thing too. The Fiend and Karrion Kross will have a woman in their corner. Kane, like I said, with the Fiend and Alexa Bliss, Kane would recruit Nikki Cross easy. Anybody in NXT fearless enough to go after Scarlett Bordeaux? Probably Xia Li, who's been on a roll, who has been dominant in her first victory back, or Shotzi Blackheart could be one enough to say, "Hey, I'll be in your corner to keep an eye on Scarlett. Why not?" And let me see who. All right, so Karrion Kross, these three. Now the final two is a tough decision to make on this one. So another NXT matchup, as far as athleticism is concerned, we're gonna go with Bronson Reed on this one. Bronson Reed, the colossal Bronson Reed, the thick boy, which I got the nickname from. Bronson Reed. Like again, Bronson Reed reminds me a lot of Bam Bam Bigelow, and that's one of his favorite wrestlers growing up. I come to find out, and he moves like Bam Bam Bigelow. There's no doubt. And Magic Kane, again, the athleticism is there. These two will probably move like freaking cruiserweights. You think, and they'll probably make the joke of 305 Live type deal, and that's what, or 405 Live. There was a little running gag about that when Ivar and Eric teamed up and as the Viking Raiders. And so I think Kane and Bronson Reed would be a heck of a matchup. Athleticism at its finest. Now the fifth one, this was a very difficult decision to make. But, because there's lots of, there's not a lot of big men around in the WWE. I think Braun Strowman. Now, I'm sure they face each other as members of their respective teams. Braun Strowman of the Wyatt family, and Kane, part of the Brothers Destruction. But Kane and Strowman one-on-one, that would be a matchup I would love to see. I mean, I don't think they went one-on-one before, but I know they interacted during the Wyatt family Brothers Destruction feud. But imagine Braun Strowman and Kane one-on-one. That will be a heck of a matchup. I think Kane did feud with Braun Strowman a few times, helping out the Miz Taraj, but we need to see a Braun Strowman matchup against Kane once again. All right, so mentions on the side. Let's go and mention number 6. I know we have not seen him on TV as much because of the controversy surrounding this man, but I think psychologically, Lars Sullivan. Kane and Lars Sullivan. Imagine, if Lars Sullivan even transforms himself into some kind of monster. Imagine Kane and Lars Sullivan. I know a lot of people don't like Lars Sullivan because of the controversy surrounding him and all that. I think Lars Sullivan would be one guy, and Kane. That would be another feud between these two, and it would be a crazy one to say the least. And Lars Sullivan and Kane, that will be a heck of a matchup. And let's go to number 7 on this one. You know what? This wouldn't be far-fetched. Almost. AJ Styles' bodyguard. Almost and Kane. Almost is like 7'6". This guy is near 8 feet tall. Well, like 7'6", 7'7". Kane's near 7 feet and over 300 pounds. Imagine these two boys lock up. I'll tell you one thing. I think he's only 7'1". I think I heard. But he's a big, big dude. Imagine almost facing Kane. That will be that'll be a heck of a matchup. Number 8. This wouldn't be far-fetched either. Let's go back to NXT on this one. Killian Dane. This is a top 10 one. Killian Dane. The Beast of Belfast. Come on. Killian Dane and Kane. Dane versus Kane. That rhymes. And I gotta tell you, that would be a heck of a matchup for sure. These two big boys going at it. Street fight rules. Anything goes. All right, number 9. I'm trying to think of somebody. Oh, let's go to NXT UK for this one. The Bomber, Dave Mastiff. Now, height-wise, Kane has the advantage. Weight-wise, I think they're even. Dave Mastiff is like a miniature version of Vader. Vader. Until when Vader and Kane fought, they fought. But Dave Mastiff would be Vader-like. But he's smaller than Kane, so he's got to use his quickness against him. So the Bomber, Dave Mastiff against Kane, and that would be a heck of a matchup for sure. So, do I have one more person to... oh, yes, I do. I have one more person. I have one more person that I think would have a match against Kane. Let's go. Would have a great match. We're going back to NXT UK. Here we go. The NXT UK champion, Walter. Imagine those two guys going at it. Walter is like Brock Lesnar-like. He's Brock, but probably to me personally, he's better than Lesnar, let me tell you. But Walter and Kane, you get those two big monsters. If you get Walter to fly down for the Royal Rumble and Kane as a surprise entry, imagine that he runs into one of these guys. Because some of these guys could be surprise entries. The Fiend could be a surprise entry. Walter, Karrion Kross, Bronson Reed, Strowman, Sullivan, even almost. I think the majority, 9 out of the 10 people on my list here could be a surprise entry into the Royal Rumble. If you count Kane, that would be 10 and 11 people I've written on here. Could be surprise entries because you never know. Almost could be unexpectedly in it. Strowman could make a comeback as I'm going in the Royal Rumble. Karrion Kross, Bronson Reed, The Fiend could make a comeback being in the Royal Rumble. Who knows for sure? And if that's the case, man, I like to see. And if Kane comes back in, I like to see those interactions happen. This is going to be a heck of a feud. All right. Now, these are the 10 people that I think. So that's it for WBF Thoughts 3 on the Big Red Machine Kane. Von Baskin already gave me my next idea, and I will talk about this young lady on my next idea. It would be none other than the man, Becky Lynch, the now mother of little Rue will be rumor has it she may come back for the Royal Rumble. Who knows for sure? But we don't know what, since it is, like I said, a lot of these matches could happen, but because of the pandemic, they can't do a lot of traveling. Unfortunately, it's travel restrictions. That's why I was trying to tell Vaughn, travel restrictions really does hurt a lot of potential matches, and that could happen. So we'll see what happens if we're going to have even, especially over in the UK, a lot of things are happening there that is not, it is really, really tough to get everybody. All right. That's it. That's all the time I have on the show. Watch Dusty Rhodes Tag Team Classic starts tonight. 3 matches happening. Undisputed Era versus Breezango. The Undisputed Era represented by Adam Cole and Roderick Strong. While the Grizzled Young Veterans take on Everrise. And Isaiah Swerve Scott and Jake Atlas will take on the debuting MSK. Could be the former Rascals. We'll see who they are. I will get that on the NXT Roundup on a couple of episodes. But on the next episode of WBF Thoughts number 4, it will be the man, Becky Lynch. Okay? I'll see you later. Guys, have a wonderful day. Blessings to you all, and peace.